just the sincerity, which I feel like that's why we click so well. The sincerity that you have and the passion that you have for the digital marketing side of things, we've got that same passion for the home service side of things. So just the care, I mean, everything is just here, and we've always been here. Everybody we've ever worked with, which we've worked with a lot of great folks, but you guys just took it to the next level.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Den. We have a special guest all the way up from North Carolina, Michael Gulledge, the proud owner of Dilling's Hvac out of Gastonia. Michael, thank you so much for being on the Den today. Thank you for coming up. How you doing, man?
Glad to be here. Doing great, brother.
Tell everybody who you are.
My name's Michael Gulledge. I'm the president of Dilling Heating and Cooling out of Gastonia County, North Carolina, just outside of Charlotte. Here this week to discuss digital marketing with One SEO and continue our relationship with Lance and his team.
So here's a question for you, Michael. What made you get into the HVAC industry? I know it's a booming industry. What made you get into it? I'm just curious. I mean, because people, you don't look like an HVAC guy to me, but I'm down with it. Tell me what.
Yeah, so really kind of stumbled into it. Played baseball growing up, and as a teen, went against this guy by the name of Corky Franks. By the time I went to college, which I played ball there, came home after my freshman year and ended up at a pig picking, which in North Carolina is where
what'd you just call it?
A pig picking.
A pig picking.
Yeah. So
okay.
You dig a hole.
Pig picking.
A pig picking, yeah. So you dig a hole, you put the pig in the ground, you cook the pig all day, people hang around, socialize, have some cocktails, and you actually pull the meat off the pig. So I get to talking to this guy, Corky Franks, who coached Teener League Baseball. We both knew who one another was at the time. He was a young guy, early 20s, and he asked me how my freshman year had went, and just talking baseball at that time. He said, what are you doing this summer? I had been home like a week. He's like, what are you going to do this summer? I'm like, typical 19-year-old. I don't know, dude. I just need to kind of find a job. He's like, well, here's what I do. I'll put you to work. I'm like, doing what? He's like, just show up at my house. I live down on Gaither Road. Here's my street number, whatever, yada, yada, yada. Be on there at 7:30 Monday. I was like, all right, I'll be there. I showed up, started working with him, just kind of learning the trade, tool handler, just kind of a grunt, really. And that's kind of how I landed in this industry. Every summer, every Thanksgiving, I would come home. He would put me to work. We formed a great friendship above and beyond work. Owe a lot to that guy. So I just kind of like the industry. I like the stability. It's an industry that's conditioning is not going anywhere. North Carolina, extreme summers, extreme winters at times. So I like the consistency that it has to offer, although the industry continues to evolve. It's just something that's fairly stable.
So, and I agree with you. I think you're in a business that's recession-proof. Doesn't matter what's happening. They grow. So, but here's a question for you. How did you take your place from being a employee to now an entrepreneur? What was that? How did that happen?
Yeah. So, kind of a long story. I'll try to condense it. So, as I'm working with Frank's Heating and Air, again, just kind of a grunt, tool handler, going back to the van from under the house, in the attic, whatever it may be, getting tools, getting refrigerant, whatever it may be, running duct, wrapping duct, sealing joints, whatever it may be. Start going back and forth to Supply House a lot. Yandle Witherspoon Supply, that's where he bought Amana. That was the brand we were using at the time. We were doing a lot of new construction. I just kind of formed a relationship with the warehouse guys over there. I would pull up to the dock, we would shoot the breeze. I was young, they were young, we were having a good time. I would deliver back and forth. So I had watched a couple guys kind of rise, and I worked in the industry the whole time I was in college. So again, it would be every summer, the whole summer, Thanksgiving, Christmas break. Like as soon as I would get home from Christmas break, I actually wanted to go work. And we had a great time working. You know, it really wasn't even work. It was just so much fun. So I had watched a couple younger guys grow up, you know, through my years in college, come up through the ranks, warehouse, to then the counter, to then they're moving them to another branch, to manage that branch, to outside sales, which is ultimately what I wanted to do. So when I got out of school, I went over there, asked these folks for a job. They said, what do you want to do? I said, I want to sell. They said, well, you can't sell. You know, you kind of got to learn the business, the industry, so on and so forth. At that point, I started in the warehouse, went from the warehouse to the counter to management to sales. Once I got into sales, I was calling on contractors. This was 06, 07. Calling on contractors. I had 26 counties in western North Carolina, all the way to the Tennessee border. I got to see new construction guys, small guys, big guys, medium-sized guys, service add-on replacement guys, geothermal guys, guys that are doing it right, guys that are profitable, guys that are going under. Unfortunately, I was in the business in 08, 09 when everything started going south. New construction kind of tanked across the country, especially in our area as well. And I tried to pick up something from every storefront that I went in. And I was just banking information at the time. And I just thought to myself, you know, if I could pick, again, we've got 100 counties in North Carolina. I think it's either 24 or 26 I was covering. So I was covering a quarter of the state. And I was just fortunate to see a lot of different guys are doing it the right way, wrong way, somewhere in the middle, so on and so forth. And I just continued to pick information and frankly thought to myself I could take all this information, all this data that I have, put it into play, and do it better than these guys are doing it. And,
okay, I like that.
Yeah.
I'll buy that.
So
how do you buy Dilling's? Because Dilling's been around since 1955.
Yep.
You've grown the company tremendously. Congratulations on your success.
Yep, thank you.
But tell me about how you buy the company here. How did that come about?
There again, timing's everything, in my belief. I had graduated to sales at the company I originally started with right out of college. That didn't work out through the recession, various other things. I was working quite a ways away from my backyard.
Yeah.
I had an opportunity to go to another distributor, which is a national distributor, the largest privately owned distributor in the country, and work in my backyard, which is Charlotte, and that's a phenomenal market as well. Was kind of doing my thing there. I just kind of felt stuck. I felt like there was this ceiling that I had either reached or was very close to reaching, and I just wanted to do something different. I didn't know for sure what it was, but I wanted to rely on myself and not somebody else. And I felt like working in the distribution business, what I could earn and what I could do, my idea is everything was being controlled. If I could get out on my own, I could call my own shots. I could earn what I wanted to earn based off what I'm willing to put into it, based off the knowledge that I absorbed through the years. So just continued to be patient and actually got out of the distribution business and went to the industrial insulation business.
Okay.
Related but totally unrelated.
So how do you meet Mr. Dilling?
Yeah, I'm getting there. Slowly but surely, sorry. So I had a buddy who was in the natural gas business. We played golf together. He got out of the gas business, natural gas, HVAC, somewhat related. Lance Smith is his name. We still play golf together. He,
Great name, by the way, Lance.
yeah, great name. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So, Lance, I had tried to get him on at RE Michael where I was at. That was a national distributor. Didn't work out. He landed with Lennox, which is an international monster brand. And Dilling had sold Lennox since 1955. Lance was calling on Dilling. Lance and I were chatting, have a drink, dinner, whatever, play golf. He knew I wanted to get out on my own. He called me. He said, I think there's an opportunity. I think they want to sell. They're close to retirement age. They've got a daughter. She's a physician. She's moved to Connecticut. She don't have any interest in the business. They don't have an exit plan. So one thing led to another. I told him that I was interested. He kind of introduced us over the phone. We talked. I talked to Mary Dilling, who was the co-owner at the time. She said they weren't interested. I said, that's fine. Keep my number. Here's who I am. And call me if you ever want to chat. So like 3 weeks later, she called me, and we were able to strike a deal really quickly. They were very particular. They thought in their mind, when I say they didn't have an exit plan, they knew they wanted to sell, but that's their last name on the side of those trucks. And anytime we go to market, anytime we show up, and they hold that very near and dear to their heart, and they just weren't going to sell to anybody.
But so do you. I've been down to your organization. You have a partner, Ed. And,
yeah, great guy.
Yes, and I find it fascinating. Very different culturally down there than here. Very different culturally. Yeah. But you're very similar to me. You actually care about everyone. Like, you are like it's insane as a business owner. That's why you're growing. You're doing so well. You care about that Dilling name like it's your own name.
Yeah.
Can you explain that, why you take it so personal? Because a lot of people that own businesses don't have that type of passion you have about that brand and name.
Well, I was the first person that approached them, and they entrusted me to protect their name. They had enough faith in me, although they had no idea who I was. I was this guy. Here was my name. Here was where I come from. Here was what I did for a living. I just felt, just like my name. This is not my last name, but I take pride in my last name. Your reputation's all you have. I mean, you got to protect that. And they were big on that. I was big on that. We're just guys that care about everybody,
I've actually, we talked, and you've actually given away systems to people. You've helped people out that can afford it. I was on the phone the other day. We were just talking. You're like, there's someone that can't afford it. I'm trying to figure out them right now how they can.
Yeah.
Like, you try and make, you're not just a vampire. And your company's growing. It's amazing to me.
Yeah.
But it's almost like a good old boys handshake you're on with a lot of people. I don't want to go that far, but you know what I'm saying.
I know exactly what you're saying. I wish that we could help more people than we actually do. We do help a ton of people. We run across every type of scenario that you can potentially imagine, and obviously you can't help everyone out, but we do as much as we possibly can. And it's always behind the scenes. Nobody ever knows about it. We don't want anybody to know about it. It's not in the paper. It's not on the news. It's not on the radio. It's just from me to you. We're not going to tell anybody about it. Done.
So you've owned this company now for about 8 years?
No, this coming July, or next July rather, will be 6.
Okay, so 6 years you own this company now, right?
Uh-huh.
But you literally went from about 3-4 employees to close to 30 now, correct?
We had 4 when we started.
Yeah, 4 employees.
We had
and
4
close
employees.
to 30.
Yeah.
You talk about that growth. That's serious growth under your leadership. Can you, before we get into all the wins, because I'm a true believer in this, we all have failures as leaders as we grow our company. What would you say one of your biggest failures was? Or is, still today?
Failure / fault, I would say, is trusting everybody before, when I walk up to you, we're employ you or whatever the case may be, you've got my trust until you break it. And I have these conversations all the time. Sometimes we've let it go too far because we just try to see the best in everybody, not the worst, which I feel like is a good trait. With that being said, though, at times that can turn into a failure if you let it go too far.
What would you say your biggest obstacle of growth? And it's been good growth. And we're going to talk about, full transparency. We do digital marketing. You've had your best months with us, so we'll get into all that stuff.
Yeah,
so
sure.
I'm not worried about that. But what would you say has been one of your biggest obstacles for you personally?
It's a lot of weight. On a personal level, I would just say I jumped into a world that I really didn't know what I was jumping into. And, I had the 8 to 5 per se, and I actually thought that this was going to be a lot easier than it was. So,
I love the honesty. I love the honesty.
Bags under my eyes and
stop! You're still good looking, brother.
Starting to look like little gray hair too. But recently, or 2.5 years ago, April 30th, 18, my wife and I had our first child. Today's our anniversary, by the way.
Congratulations.
4 years.
Definitely outkicked your coverage also.
Yeah, thank you. So we just decided it was the best decision for us, for her to stay at home. And once we made that decision, which is 2 years now, come January, the weight got even heavier. But I feel like...
Does the weight motivate you?
Of course, the weight motivates me, but to take it a step further, I feel like, for me, my shoulders can handle the weight. Somebody blessed me with the ability to carry the weight, and it's my duty to carry that weight, maintain that weight, and move forward.
Yeah, most people don't understand you don't only just carry the weight for your personal family, now your business family also, you're carrying weight for close to 40 people to feed them.
Well, no, we've got close to 30 employees, but if you multiply that out with a spouse and multiple children, my business, Ed's got 7 children, 1 on the way.
Yeah, he's a wild man. Ed's a wild man.
That adds 9 to just like that. So it's just, of course, it's just a lot of weight, but I can handle the weight. I like the weight.
So let's talk about this. Your business is growing. You're booming. Appreciate you flying up here.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to spending a day or two with you. Talk about, you hired one SEO. Point blank, did it change your business? Look at that smile.
Absolutely. We've been with one SEO for a while. Flirted with them years ago. Finally decided to dance. We've had, in the last 3 weeks, we've had our biggest sales day ever by about 80%. Our biggest sales day ever.
Biggest sales day, and you're actually having your biggest sales months consistently, correct? Everything's been growing?
Everything is trending north. Yeah.
When I met you again, you were like kind of pissed. You were like, "What's going on?" And then I said, "Listen, I'll fly down to meet you."
Absolutely. So I was.
And you didn't think I was coming?
No, I really didn't. No, I didn't. I didn't think you were coming, but actually, I had heard through a peer group so many people say record year, record year, record year, record year, record year, record year. Like, it just, I dream about it. But anyway, our year was kind of flat. Actually, it was less than flat. I mean, we had some real struggles. Got affiliated with one SEO, and everything just started to change. I mean, it wasn't like that, but it's getting more and more and more. It's like every day we hit another level, and it's been awesome.
What do you think? You were with other digital marketing companies before us.
Yep.
Full transparency, what do you think is the difference between one SEO and other agencies?
Obviously yourself. You're very interactive in the day-to-day. You want to see all of your folks that you employ succeed, excel, grow. You want to see your customers do the same thing, because you realize that your customer's success is a reflection of your success and your team's success. Just the sincerity, which I feel like that's why we click so well, the sincerity that you have and the passion that you have for the digital marketing side of things, we've got that same passion for the home service side of things. So just the care, I mean, everything is just here, and we've always been here. Everybody we've ever worked with, which we've worked with a lot of great folks, but you guys just took it to the next level.
You know, it's funny because people say all the time, well, Lance, it's you. I don't work on your account.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't work on it, but you can text me.
But I'm sitting here with you now.
You are, and I appreciate that. But you can text, call me. Do I ever not respond?
No, never. No, I mean, like, you text me if you miss a call, like, I'll hit you right back. I'm on the phone. I'm in a meeting. It'll be 30 minutes. It'll be 29 minutes. It'll be whatever it is. You do what you say.
And the reason why I'm saying that here to everyone watching this, because if you want to own a small fucking business, you better get back to your customers. Because you don't know how many people sit there and I reach out to and they'll get back to me a day or two later, and other people I hear all the time. Doesn't that blow your mind?
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. My next door neighbor, Lance, just to get off topic a little bit, we had just moved in our house. We've been in our house 5 years now. My next door neighbor across the street, Mr. and Mrs. Finger. Miss Finger taught me 12th grade English, right?
Okay.
So we connected.
Damn, you do live in a small town, don't you, baby?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we got reacquainted. It's been a while. And they said to me, you know, we're doing business with X company. And I'm like, well, look, here's what I do. If you ever want to talk, let me know. You know, we'll take good care of you. So they called me in the summer, June, July, standard North Carolina summer, you know, 95, 98, humidity out the roof. They say to me, our air's out. I'm like, okay. We called our provider. This was either a Tuesday or a Wednesday. I don't recall. It's one of those 2 days. They said to me, we called them, and they said they'll be out Friday. I'm like, they'll be out what? They'll be out Friday. So you're telling me you don't have air. It's either Tuesday or Wednesday. Again, I don't remember. But they'll be out Friday. I'm like, it just, I almost crawled out.
Did you go right out?
Right out.
Of course. Now
just
you're
like
a
we
customer
always
for life.
We earned their business for life. We were out this week. So to surge protectors to them, perform their maintenance. Yeah, absolutely.
Here's a question for you. What separates Dilling from other HVAC companies? And I'm just talking, I mean, I know you have the customer service, but you guys have a serious training program over there. I know you're heavily involved with Ream, I believe.
Yeah.
And you have them out training every month, every other week. Can you talk about what separates you from other organizations in your own industry?
I'm glad that you mentioned service, because that would be the first response. However, there's a lot of folks out there that offer service, same day service. You know, you call us, we'll be out there in a couple hours. Mm-hmm. The fact that we're growing our employees from within, I think that separates us for sure. So they're getting to learn each step of the business. So it might be from install to service, from service to service management, from service to sales, from install to sales, I don't know, whatever it may be. So as we've grown, we've been able to create more positions, keep our people within. Our training, yeah, we're a big believer in training. Again, we talked about earlier, the industry is consistent as far as the conditioning goes. However, it's like the rest of the world. It continues to evolve. Technology just keeps and keeps and keeps, and it will continue. So we have to train. We have to train weekly, which is what we do. So above and beyond that, though, just our sincerity. We care about somebody on the other line. They don't have an issue. I mean, they have an issue. Obviously, we're going to charge them a fee, but we want to rectify their issue, and we want to rectify it right then. So if it's cold, they got a baby, a pregnant wife, whatever the case may be, our goal is to get them heat right now, today.
You know, and it's funny you said it about the community and everything. 'Cause we've talked a lot now. We've gotten to know each other.
Yeah.
You have a 2.5-year son, Henry. I
Yeah.
got a 2.5-year-old Tank, right?
Yeah.
So, legacy and community. Can you talk to me about your legacy and community, why it's so important to you down there? Because you take your hometown, that whole entire area down there, serious. Like, you're proud of who you are and what you've built and what you want to build. Can you talk about your legacy in your hometown?
Sure. Yeah. So I grew up in a sports town. Grew up an athlete. I played baseball, basketball, and football. That's all I cared about growing up. And North Carolina, football's big, baseball's big, basketball's big on the college level. I only cared at that time, and probably soon after that time, about my sports legacy. And as I got older, which I'm not that old,
Now you're still, what, 36?
38,
Okay.
I realized the legacy is more about the impact we can make on the community. People in need, children in need, veterans in need. I don't care about sports anymore. My son, I played baseball since the time I was little. I don't care if he plays or not. He can do whatever he wants to do. My tune has just changed dramatically through the years. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I get it. So, but you're also willing to work with other companies. You talk to people. They hire you. They actually sub work out to you when they can't get to it. What would you say to a company right now? And they said to you, hey, Michael, how are you growing right now so rapidly? And I'm not. What would you say to them? What advice would you give them?
You've got to let people know who you are. You've got to align yourself with the right people from a marketing standpoint. You've got to do what you say when you say 100% of the time. You've got to own your mistakes, because we all make them. When you make them, you got to make them right. And it's fine. We make them. I'm sure since I've been gone, we've made some today. Everybody knows that's okay. It's okay. We'll make them right.
So what's the biggest challenges that face your industry right now, do you think?
Staff.
Getting good
Staff, good employees, people. People don't think much about home service. They want to wear a suit to work. They want to be on the 10th floor somewhere. They don't understand that there's a huge opportunity within our industry
to make serious money.
To make serious money right out of school. Again, you know, it's just
figures.
not.
You make 6 figures.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, service techs, installation techs, sales guys, admin, marketing directors. The list goes on. We're in a competitive business with a great pay scale, and it's just something I feel like, I don't know, it's just so blue collar. You know, everybody wants to be white collar, but this is a blue collar industry, but you can make white collar money and still be who you may potentially be, which could be a blue collar person.
Yeah, I never understood the white collar, blue collar thing, because I've seen so many people in home service industries, friends of mine. Well, I mean, what's comical is people think I'm white collar, which I'm more probably blue collar just from my background growing up. I
Sure.
have a white collar. I have multiple companies, you know. But yeah, it's comical. But there is no difference between the two people. It's just their profession.
That's it.
And I see
That's it.
a lot of blue collar entrepreneurs make more money than white collar entrepreneurs. And it's actually comical because you know the numbers, you know the data. I've seen it.
Yeah. We both know.
Huh?
We both know.
Yeah. You know, on the final roar, what's the most rewarding part of your job, and what keeps you moving forward? Because it's hard for an entrepreneur like you to look yourself in the mirror and say, hey, listen, I'm kind of flat now. I got to make change and start growing. So you want to move forward, obviously. You want to keep building.
Got to move forward.
Okay. Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, so it's rewarding to me to see our employees prosper and they go home at the end of the day with a smile on their face, hopefully more times than not. They're able to provide for their families. Day to day, the relationships that I have with different employees, different customers, the fact that we're actually able to help people. When your AC goes out and it's 100 degrees in North Carolina, that's a huge problem.
No doubt.
You can't, that's helping somebody. When your heat goes out and it's 28 degrees outside, you gotta have heat. You gotta have heat. That's helping somebody. So the business is very fulfilling from a standpoint of we do get to help people every day, whether it be our customers or our employees. We get to see our employees grow, and we get to help our customers. We get to look at the email that states we got a 5-star Google review, and somebody took the time to write a paragraph about a certain individual that works for us. That just gives me chills every single time.
To jump in, Terry, talking about social media, you don't have it personally, neither does your partner.
No.
But now you're getting it because you've seen the power of all the other digital marketing.
Yeah, so again, much like we talked about earlier, legacy, community, what you want that to look like, my mind has changed, it's shifted. Social media, yeah, I've never had it, I've always been against it. My wife and I talk about it all the time, but yeah, at this point we're going to move forward.
Because you saw the power of other digital marketing?
Absolutely, you have taught me that.
So now it's just time to go all in.
It's time to move all in. Yep.
You're a good-looking guy, ladies. I know he's married,
Yeah.
but you're gonna love seeing Michael on social media. You get to connect with all your friends, your parents.
Yeah.
You get to connect with everyone.
I have fought it for a long time. You know, maybe I'm backwoods, but we're gonna move forward with social media. You'll see me soon.
Everybody, thanks for watching. Then Michael, thank you so much for being on here. You're
Thank
the
you.
man. I appreciate it. I'll
Yeah, I
talk to you
appreciate
soon. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this content, please don't forget to follow me at Lance Bachmann on Instagram and Twitter. Follow me on Facebook at Lance Bachmann Digital. And every Thursday we drop a new podcast. Don't forget to listen to it. We're giving out great content. And remember this is the time to build your business right now. Let's effing go, everybody.